I wish we could kind of, get a few Brujas together to sample those visions to some people in power right now, because I
Right.
feel like we could change some things.
Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe. And we're the Ghouls Next Door. Talking about spooky stuff.
Yeah.
And today is a special episode that is very timely. It is in line with the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. This will be the second time that we're doing this, like a second year that we're covering the festival. It's such an amazing piece of Philadelphia cinema. Like having this here. The creators are amazing, and I love seeing the work that's going through there. A lot of really awesome things coming through, to be honest, that I'm like, I have been begging all the people to be like, let me talk to everyone who I can for this festival. But luckily today we will be talking to the director and writer of one of the shorts that is featured in the same block that our very silly short film is in. So it's funny because theirs is also hilarious, but so much more serious than ours could be.
Yeah.
In that, like, the themes are a little more hard hitting, especially now. Just in the state of the world, which I'm sure we'll talk about it. They were probably thinking, and then also were surprised that it would be so timely when it came out. But we're going to be talking to the creators of Preggers. So we have Sylvia Ray and Marco Parra. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves and your role in the film Preggers? We'll start with you, Sylvia.
Sure. I'm Sylvia Ray, and I am the director of Preggers. I got brought in by Marco, who had written it, and he asked me if I would like to direct, and I read it, and my brain just instantly kind of went crazy with visual ideas and how I would direct it and what I could do visually and who I would cast. And so all of that was such a good sign to me that I said yes. And we ended up working together on the script for a while until it was nice and tight and ready to go. And we made the thing.
Yes, you did. And how about you, Marco?
Hello, my name is Marco Parra. I am the writer of Preggers. I'm also one of the characters in the film. And yeah, I mean, the idea came about in 2018, I believe, when Arkansas started rolling back some of the women's rights and health things. And for me, it was really important to get a director that was bold and fearless and funny and intelligent. And those were all the things that Sylvia is. So it was actually a shot in the dark. I was like, I have this awesome script. I'm just going to send it to her and see what she says. I wasn't even expecting a yes. And then she said yes, which I was taken aback by a bit. And then things quickly started rolling from there. And this was during the pandemic. So it was just refreshing and also scary to me a little bit of the pace in which it was moving and just how gun-ho Sylvia was about making this film. Like, it was just empowering and it gave me a lot of confidence.
Yes. Yeah, it's a kind of like a dream team, honestly. And I think having these two different viewpoints and experiences really adds to the story too, because it's covering like a lot. There's, I feel like a lot of intention behind it, and many different intentions behind it as well. But for our listeners, what Preggers is about is Isabella's life is flipped upside down after a chance meeting with a bruja. And that's such a little teaser of what it is. But it's so interesting because it is a point of view that we don't really often see, and kind of like a take on it too, because we're so quick to just be like, uh, not to give anyone a chance either, and to just completely villainize someone and be like, okay, that's it. Like this was your one shot chance to be compassionate and you blew it, instead of being like, wait, not everyone knows and understands like the complexities of what is behind this choice, and that there there's just, yeah, there's just people who aren't ever going to understand that unless you're kind of put into that hellish dream sequence that you are. It's like I wish we could kind of, get a few brujas together to send some of those visions to some people in power right now, because I
Right.
feel like we could change some things. Um,
Mhm.
but so for Marco, for you, in writing this, like what prompted it? Like what really kind of, like you said, it was kind of seeing those things back, but what um helped you come up with this story to begin with, like start that shape?
There was a lot of dialogue during that time, that was starting to reemerge with Roe v. Wade, and I heard someone say if men got pregnant, there would be an abortion clinic on every corner, and that just instantly sparked something within me when I was like, yeah, like men have no idea whatsoever what it would be like, the complexity, like you're saying, of the decision. I think that a lot of people out there feel like it's just like, oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to go. And a lot of the women that have reached out to me after watching Preggers have just really, it's been humbling because they tell me their experiences, and some of them did go through an experience like that and had a very difficult time and still do. And that's something that I could never ever understand, and I never
Hmm.
will. So I thought, well, what is the only way a man could ever understand is by a fictional setting where a bruja makes him go through these experiences, and that's the only way, right? To really, so really, a lot of it also was, to promote empathy,
Hmm.
within men to women.
Yeah, absolutely. And specifically for you, when you were like reading over this, you said a lot of it like stuck out to you. Was there anything that was like particularly motivating you to like take this on, that you were like, yeah, I'm the one who needs to help make this story, like to like validate it in some way as well, but like, yeah, like I'm the one who's going to take this on.
Yeah, I feel like at the time I was, and everybody was going through a really hard time because of the pandemic. And I was trying to focus on directing a feature film and felt as if my world had been stuffed back into the water.
Mm.
I'm a mother of two, and so they came home from school and I had to, do all of the Zoom school stuff. And so I had, free time that ended up being ripped away from me. And yeah, I wasn't even sure if like production was ever going to happen ever again. And so it was like, oh, I've spent all this time hustling and working towards a passion and goal that I no longer know if it's going to happen for me. And when I read the script, at first I was like, wait, you wrote a film about abortion? I don't know if I'm going to like this, Marco, but let's give it a read. And what I liked about it is that it wasn't on the nose, and it wasn't like, this is our point of view and you better listen to it. There was a lot of nuance to it, and like Marco said, the intention behind it was first and foremost empathy towards women who need to make this choice or who are going through this struggle. And me being a woman in society, obviously have a lot of motivations behind. Like for me, this is a my way of showing my point of view and how I can make a change in the world. Because, with social media and making posts and stuff, sometimes you're screaming into the same 20 people who have the same view as you.
Yep.
And for me, this felt like a way that I can do my part, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And, something that we often are talking about is like, one, horror is a really great tool for empathy and also like to kind of talk about shared traumas or like highlight cultural issues in a way that's like really digestible for audiences, because they come in and it's like, it's easy to like, we paint a villain, we paint this horrific scenario, and you're like, yeah, that actually is quite horrifying and terrible, and we hate that. But the same kind of beats and kind of attraction that people have for horror happens in comedy as well, which is like why I really love like that natural blend of like we can kind of laugh alongside of it, because there's some absurd things like the head like on the child's body is like adorable, and you're just like, okay, this is absurd. We can allow ourselves to like not get too intense about it and like just enjoy the piece and just take it in. That is the only kind of thing that you can get from something like a horror comedy. And so I think it's like the perfect like subgenre, cross genre for this piece.
No, thank you. And for the dream sequence, like when I read that, for me, that's when my like director hat was just like, ooh, like we can have some fun with this. And like we can really put this guy through the ringer visually, and it'd be really exciting to like just cut my teeth into it as a director. And that was like another main reason I was just like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Kat, your question.
So there was something at the end of this film that I really appreciated, which is probably skipping ahead, but we'll come back and we'll be in the middle again. So we analyze a lot of media, and a lot of the time we'll see whether it's comedy, horror, or any other genre, like they'll take on these big topics, but not give the viewer any like next steps for what they just consumed. And I really appreciated when we got to the end of this that there were resources linked in the credits. And I was just like, that's so cool, because a lot of times we'll just be like, here's this giant concept and you're going to take it how you're going to take it, but then you're not going to know what to do with yourself. It's going to make you mad, and you're going to be like, what do I do with all of this blind indirect rage that I have for you? So yeah, I just really appreciated that at the end in the credits that there were links to resources for people who may want to do something with the information that they were just given. So specifically, you linked abortionfunds.org and PlannedParenthoodAction.org. But what was your like process with making the decision to include that? But also like, how did you go about finding like your source of the resources that you included in the credits?
Yeah, I feel like Marco, you brought that idea up, and we were like, yeah, let's do that. And the big thing is like, while making the film, we were very careful to, and in the writing process, we were very careful not to get into the finger wagging state of things, and while still keeping our point of view without, basically scaring off like half the audience or whatever. Like we really were trying to toe this line of making something that we enjoyed, that had our message, and that was entertaining and fun and built empathy for women. And then, so when we decided to include that, it was just a conversation. And then Planned Parenthood has helped me lots of times through the years with just basic shit, Oh, I'm sorry. Damn, Marco, you did warn them about me. They're just always there, like no matter what. And so I thought that would be a great place to start. And then abortion funds is, with all the different states and what's happening in the state of the world now, it's going to be difficult for women in those areas, and that would be a way to help. Luckily in California, it's scarier right now, but it's not as scary as in some areas. And so if we could reach out a hand and help in those areas, that's what we intended to do. Hopefully it'll happen where people will see our film and then be like, let's go to the website.
Yeah.
I think personally, the goal when I started writing, because personally it was because I'm an actor first, so I wanted to create projects for myself, even because I was not having opportunities to do it otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But it dawned on me that it was important to not just create things to create them and be a part of them, but to actually say something that I'm trying to convey, like Sylvia earlier said about, posting things online and things of that nature. And I felt like, if this is my chosen art, if this is how I choose to express myself, why not use what I want to say in my art or in these projects that I'm trying to create? So it having a way to help the cause or to inform someone with adding that entertainment aspect to it, not just like Sylvia said, wagging your finger, but making it fun, and then be like, oh wait, did I just see something that made me think about, think twice about just making someone have a baby, and not see. So for me, I felt like that's very important, and so that was a big motivation for me personally.
Yeah. And I think it's like, as creators, right? It's kind of our job to some degree to do some of that work too, to be very conscious of what we're putting out there. And sometimes it's literally just like the fact that you all are the ones who made it. That's the biggest part of this impact, right? Like, I think having the fact that it's a bruja, right? Like, that's never talked about. Like, we never have, other than like the typical white witches in our media, right? Like, people just don't even think about those. And that it wasn't like this like negative thing either. Like, there was this very comfortable and just casual cultural aspect to it that I really identified with and I enjoyed. Like, I loved being able to see that on the screen. Like, there's just not enough representation out there for those things. And that, like, there are these characters that we get for such a short time that are multifaceted, right? Like, they're not just one trope of a character that we would see anywhere else. They all have their own stories and we can kind of see them. And I think that was like really amazing and a big part of like what drew me to the film. So thank you for for making that and for being a part of this, like saying yes to each other to do that. Like,
honestly, that means like a lot to me, because part of why I'm doing what I'm doing is to, show people on screen that represent like my friend group, like, which is diverse and interesting and weird and vibrant and all of the things. And all of the people in our film are, either friends of Marco or friends of myself, or Marco himself.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Luckily, we know good actors, and yeah, so it's intentional. It's all intentional, and the discussion between the different types of Latinos and Latinas in our film, and the different languages we use. Because the Bruja, she speaks Catalan, so she's actually from Spain. The actress Itziar Martinez, and she and I discussed like, where are we going to take Graciana? Like, how, what kind of bruja is she going to be? Because there's brujas from over like the world that have different types of cultures. And so her being from northern Spain, we drew from the Catalan area. And so she speaks Basque, or Basque. I don't know how to say it. But she, we discussed the lore, and we discussed the different kinds of culture she would have in her shop and things like that. And not only that, like, she's also a modern bruja. Like, she's, sex positive, and she's into like new wave spirituality. And it was just really, really fun to explore that character with her, for sure. Yeah.
What you were saying was very real, in that you have, I don't want to be, sorry. So what you're saying is really real in that, like, a lot of the media that we see, it's a lot of people shape their worldview around what they witness in film and media and TV. And I thought that like really showing this world was like very impactful in that, like, one, the message, but also just like as Gabe was saying, like representation. Do you have any other projects coming up that would follow this world? Like, do you want this to be a full film? Like, short films are full films, but like, I get like, I mean, like, do you want it to have more to the characters, more to the story, uh, more things going on?
It was one of those things where me and Marco, we were like, yeah, this is a short film. This is it. Like, we're
Yeah.
not, like, this is what it is, and that's all.
Hmm.
But we have lately been exploring a feature film version of this that is in the dark comedy horror space. That's really
Ooh.
exciting. Marco, do you want to talk about it a little bit, or should we keep it secret?
I think it's expanding on the world and sticking close to some of the themes, but expanding on some of the characters. I'll leave it at that.
I think it'll be a little bit darker.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously longer, so we'll be able to follow the characters a bit closely, a little bit more closely, and kind of
Hmm.
unpack things like the Bruja and the Carlos character or Charles character.
Hmm.
So it should be really, really fun. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'd say that was like my biggest feeling. Like after watching it, I was like, one, I was like, wow, this was so interesting. But then also, I was like, it would be so cool to get more of what is going on. Like I think I texted that to Gabe. Like when I finished watching it, I was like, it'd be so cool to just like see more of what's happening.
Thank you
Yeah.
for saying that.
Yeah. I was like, more, more, more. Yeah, I think there was a lot of really fun parts too. And you kind of already both kind of touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to know more about like what were some of the like really fun parts of creating it. Like there's the dream sequence, obviously, but like things that maybe unexpectedly you were like, wow, this is actually like really fun or awesome or interesting to do.
I'd have to say, just on the dream sequence aspect, Sylvia was like, "Oh, I envision using your face on a kid's body," and I was like, "Wait, you could actually do that?" Like I didn't think it was possible, honestly, and her telling me, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this," I was like, "Wow, okay, like this is for me." I was so excited to see how that turned up, and so satisfied at the end.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it reminds me of that TikTok trend where you can like enlarge your head so it looks like
Right.
you're a
Yeah.
kid kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that was really fun to shoot too, and that was the last thing we shot at the end of the last day, and we were in or we were like rushing to get out of a location so that we
Mhm.
didn't burn any bridges, and and my kid was the body double, like he
Oh,
was the body, and I thought, oh no, it could be a disaster because he can, he's not an actor, he's just a kid, and man, he did a good job, and so we paid him in donuts.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, like, um, using who you know, like you were saying,
Mhm.
how you all are, like you picked actors that you knew, and, I also saw, like, that, like, so much of your crew were women, and there was, like, so much intentionality behind that I thought was really cool because it's like, we do like, in our film, it's just, like, people we grab, and we're like, "Do this with us," and they're
Yeah,
like,
it's usually
"Okay, sounds
featuring
fun."
us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I love
another
that.
thing where we're like, we'll write it for ourselves because no one else is casting us, so that kind of
It,
thing.
I feel like it's so important to do that, and it makes you a better actor. I feel like at the end. So
Yeah, because then like, you have, like, this informed idea of both sides, and so then you're able to,
absolutely.
Mhm.
like, just be better in either area, but yeah, I really love that, and I feel like that only adds to, um, like, the quality of it because it's like we're all kind of coming together to complete this idea that we all believe in or that we're all like excited about and like we have some kind of investment into it. Even your kid with his donuts, like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
okay.
no, I feel like very fortunate because when I first started filmmaking, that was part of the intention is just inclusivity and having my crew and cast be as diverse as possible. And so over the years, I've met a bunch of really amazing, talented people. Our cinematographer Sylvia Lara, I've known her for several years and been wanting to work with her. So I'm happy that she really knocked it out of the park with this one and came on board. And yeah, I feel like a lot of my crew is like, oh, who do you know that's like, can be like, it's like buddy buddy. And I've
Mhm.
built a good foundation of crew already that's diverse. So it ends up just like pulling in more diverse people and it's
Yeah,
great. Um, but yeah, it's been an awesome journey for sure.
Another
yeah.
cool aspect I feel like is we didn't pay everyone in donuts, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was an independent, we crowdfunded, so it wasn't exactly the biggest of budgets, but the fact that a lot of these crew members that work with Sylvia and friends of mine, they wanted to help. They volunteered to help
That's
uh,
amazing.
because
Yeah.
they believed in the story as well and what we were doing, and that was a really cool aspect of the whole shoot in general, I feel like.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
like speaks to the work itself when people are like, "Yeah, I'll be like whatever it is." Like I don't even like that's just little pieces of joy too to be like, "Wow, I guess like I guess it is doing something, right?" Like even before it's
Yeah.
made, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like
the
other people
goal
are
is
invested. Sorry. Go ahead.
right. Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, I feel like, the goal is to also over time as we build our careers is to bring everybody along and pay everybody more money. That's the ultimate goal. But yeah,
Level up from donuts. Yes.
yeah, to have people
Yeah.
definitely. Well, my kid is honestly very lucky he got a donut in the first place.
Yeah.
Sign up
But
for the
yeah, just
craft services alone.
I know craft services. But when people want to work with you because they believe in you, that's
Hmm.
like, I'm so grateful for that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it makes
Um
people better actors too. Like I don't know if I've never been on a professional film set, but whenever we act like with our short films, Gabe and I, I'm always just like, wow, okay. I feel like I could mess up and that'd be okay because we're all friends. And I feel like it makes everyone do a better job too because they're invested in a different way than strangers might have been.
yeah.
Mhm.
The similarities of those sets and the pro sets, let me tell you, is not that much different. Only the tools usually
Hmm.
are what change.
Oh, Sylvia, we lost your camera. Oh no.
Oh
Device
no,
not
it might
connected.
be bad signal. It looks like it's gonna rain where we are right now, so hopefully it's not on our end.
Hopefully it'll cool
It's
down.
not totally sunny and nice here where I am.
Yeah.
No.
Where in California are you?
I'm close to LAX, which is close
You said LA
to.
a bunch of times. That's real.
I'm sorry.
I remember you said LA a bunch of times before now.
Oh,
But
yeah. Feel like we're in LA.
yeah.
No.
You could say literally anything. I'd be like, sure, yeah, that.
Wait, so tell me where you, because I'm not exactly sure where you guys are at.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in Philly. Oh,
Mhm.
perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I know. I was planning to come out there. I was dying to come out, and then everything just with COVID and stuff is kind of
Yeah,
weird. But
Yeah.
it's a pain. it's
yeah,
it's ruining everything. But yes, welcome back.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, no, it happens. It happens. Sorry for my coughing fit. I was like, oh my god.
That's like when that happens in the middle of class, like the
oh my
you're
gosh.
just like trying to like keep it in, and your
Yeah.
tears are like, whoa, it's the worst.
Yeah, I think I remember one time when I was in at Temple University, we were doing like a show. It was like my first time on like the set for like recording this like episode, and I was like a camera op, and I had to cough, and I was just like, and I like locked the camera, and, like ran, and like had to like slowly close the door
Oh
so it wouldn't make a
gosh.
noise, and I was like, like dying in the
Beads of
back.
sweat
Yeah,
are
I was like,
coming
I have to go. I have to go.
Yeah.
I was like, they're gonna hire me. It's my first time. Um, but it's all good. Excellent. So, what I wanted to ask, kind of to start wrapping up, and then we'll like kind of ask like where people can find you and everything. But we always like to ask like our when we interview creatives, like if they have any advice for burgeoning filmmakers or screenwriters or actors even who um, have these stories and they're just like waiting to get them out, like what words of advice do you have for them to make that final jump to just do it?
Yeah. I would suggest listening to podcasts and reading books by creatives who are really inspirational, like Brene Brown and Elizabeth. I forget her last name, but she wrote the book Big Magic.
Mm,
And just like explore that whole world, because there's a lot out there and it's super, super inspiring. And a lot of them give really amazing advice. Um, One of the big pieces of advice that I remember reading or listening to in the book Big Magic was you're allowed to put your SHIT sandwich on top of the on top of the pile of those types of sandwiches. You're allowed to do that.
contribute.
Just giving, yeah, so just like give yourself permission to do it, because it's one of
Yeah.
those like cliches, just do it things.
Yeah, but I think also it's like oftentimes like creators that like look like us and come from these diverse backgrounds don't always get those chances either to
Yeah,
like make mistakes or just like
yeah,
have a bad film every now and again or something. Like they get so much more bad rep than like how many bad films has this one dude made, but then we keep giving them chances, like that kind of thing.
mhm,
So
yeah,
I think we just all need to kind of just be like, you know what, let's all operate as if we had an infinite number of chances and just do it.
yeah.
I love
I
that.
Yeah, I didn't grow up like fostering that creative side, and even in college, and I found my confidence in being an artist later in life. But I had to do a lot of rewiring because
Mhm.
of where I'm from, and not seeing creatives that make money or a living. So a lot of that rewiring takes repetitive listening and doing and work.
Mhm.
And it's totally possible to find your passion and go out and do your thing and do something that is fulfilling to you. It just requires, some like movement in your brain, like, rewiring. It's
Mhm.
totally possible.
Mhm. And what about you, Marco?
I would say to don't wait for the perfect moment because it will never come.
Mm.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to fail because everyone fails, and that's how you learn and grow and become better. And I feel like if you get the ball rolling, even though you don't think you know what you're doing or you're not experienced enough or good enough, when you get the ball rolling, you'd be so surprised how many people come to help you push that ball.
Mhm.
And all you got to do is just start. Just
Mhm.
start and stay persistent. And I think that if you're passionate enough about it, you will get it done no matter what. And I feel like it's about the passion and it's about doing it. So that
Yeah,
would be my advice for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, and when you're passionate about something, people feed off that energy, and then they're also passionate. So
Absolutely.
just
My
like
dad
adds
always
to
used to,
that.
yeah, no, my dad always used to say, like, if you really love doing something, no one has to tell you, like, hey, go practice this or go do that. You're there doing it because you love it so much. So when you find that thing, and you want to be doing it, you want to be
Mm,
creating, no matter if that means that, it's not going to be as good as you thought or at first, or it's not going to be perfect because it never will be. You'll always
Mm.
find something that you could tweak or fix or make better. But if you continue to do it over and over again and learn from what you're doing, you arrive to a certain place faster than you think.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and you make impacts everywhere you go. And especially when you can make, intentional and charming films like you all have, it goes a long way, and hopefully that'll inspire other people. So definitely check out flaff.org so that you can take a watch of it in our shorts block, and we'll be posting links and all of that in our show notes so that you can support, as well as where to find you too. So where can people find you?
My Instagram and Twitter and stuff is at Sylvia Lynn with the B, Sylbia. It's the way my mom says my name. Lin. And my website is Sylvia Ray Directs, spelled correctly. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome.
Everything I do pretty much lives on Instagram. So at Marco A Barra Parra _ That's
Perfect.
everything I'm doing is pretty much there.
And we have our film Instagram too, at Preggers Film.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
At Preggers Film, yes.
Yeah, so we can see it just take off, and we can keep up for the next installment or what comes next, because
Yay.
we're very excited for that. But thank you both so much for joining us and for talking about your film and just talking about your process and who you are. We really appreciate you taking that time, and we're very excited, like even to just be in that virtual audience alongside you. I love that we get that opportunity. Like that's
Yeah.
just amazing.
Thank you so much for having us. This was awesome. You guys are really amazing hosts. We feel very welcomed here.
Aw.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the kind words about the film as well.
No.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, talk about an ego booster.
Yeah, take it.
Very,
Take
very
all
nice
that.
words. I receive it.
Yes, yes. Awesome. Well, with that being said, Kat,
Don't get married.
delete your
kids.
kids.